Well, I'm going to put this on YouTube. So I'm going to talk about the Niners versus Rams game. So before I talk about this game, please follow me on TikTok on CG Ruthless. I'm over 15,000 followers. Definitely check out my content. Follow me on Twitter, CG Ruthless 1, which they call X. Instagram, CG Ruthless. And if you got a Facebook, follow me on Facebook under CG Ruthless. So let's get on to this type of game. So the Niners, they have everything to prove for this Sunday. Because the Rams, let's be honest, they are not fully healthy. They are really dinged up. This is a perfect bounce back game. So the way I see it is you cannot shoot yourself in the foot. Because you're going to face a young Rams team. Some guys that are not experienced. Especially the wide receivers. They don't have two of their best receivers out there. So that's going to be a disadvantage. But we got to hold up pretty well. As far as their offensive line, it is a disadvantage against our defensive line. We should have at least 5 to 6 sacks on Stafford. Or at least more. I feel like our running game should have a huge advantage. You watch the tape. You watch all the stuff. You see what the Rams are struggling with. They cannot stop the running game. They have missed 33 tackles. Majority of their missed tackles are from their linebackers and secondaries. You run the ball right towards them, you should at least average over 6 yards a carry or more. Jordan Mason, despite how people feel, he don't need to be a CMC. He just needs to be a very productive running back that can kill the clock. And you know what? If Kittle's not going to play this Sunday, that's okay. This is the opportunity for Brock Purdy to prove that he is worth that contract next year. So you're not going to have Debo. You're not going to have Christian McCaffrey. And possibly no George Kittle. So this is your chance to silence those doubts. Because now it's your chance to make the most out of somebody else. You have chemistry with Juwan Jennings. You have some chemistry with Chris Conley, which I think should be the key factor. I mean, then Brandon Ayuk just has to gain back his confidence. He has to come back to the form that he was last year. But he's just having a slump because he missed majority of training camp and all that stuff. So that kind of does affect the guy. But this is what I'm saying. This has a perfect bounce back game. And not to sound cocky, man. Not to sound cocky. I don't think this game's going to be even close. Like, what do the Rams have that scares me? On defense, they don't even have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was their entire force. Ernest Jones, they just traded the guy. That don't scare me. All they got is young talent. They got, what is this? Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Byron Young. That's young talent. But they can't even stop the run. You look at their secondary. They're pretty dinged up. They might even have a Keller Witherspoon out there, man. We're very familiar with Keller Witherspoon. So I think this is just, it's a perfect bounce back game. This should be the type of performance where Brock Purdy puts over 400 plus yards or so. Or the running game goes over 200 yards. It's just, this is a perfect time to build confidence back, man. We lost to the Vikings. We definitely got punched in the face in Minnesota. Now it's just time to go back into LA. Go back to Levi Self and put a whipping on the Rams. You see what the Cardinals did, right? They were able to run the ball really well. They were able to make some plays. Yes, Brock Purdy isn't Kyler Murray, but dude, this is exactly how you should beat the Rams. Is to have the ability to make this defense wear out. You run the ball effectively like they did with James Conner, that's going to wear out the defense. You're able to feed the ball to your playmaker like Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride. That makes a difference. I think this is what's going to matter. The Niners have to at least bounce back. They got to score 40 points, man. I don't see no reason why. It doesn't sound cocky when I believe my team is very capable of scoring 40 points, man. I just don't think the game's going to be close because their offensive line is not going to hold up, and Stafford's going to eventually struggle. He's going to throw some picks. He's going to get hit a lot, and it's just not going to be pretty. He's going to have some nice garbage stats. But who does he got? Demarcus Robinson. What, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Whittington? I mean, Tutu Atwell? Really? Is that what they got? And then you look at their running game. Kyron Williams, he hasn't really been as productive. And Sean McVay doesn't seem to want to stick with the running game either. So that can be a huge advantage because if they can get a running game going, then you don't know what's going to happen. But Sean McVay doesn't seem to trust the running game as much. Then you look at their defense, man. You can get big chunk of plays. That's how I look at it, man. This is perfect for guys who want to play these other guys. So as far as fantasy football-wise, I mean, yeah, Christian McCaffrey, all those owners are pissed. But if you got Jordan Mason, this is a perfect matchup for him to get you those big points. If you don't have any other receivers to play, man, go get Jauan Jennings, man. That guy is going to give you some good points, man. If you don't have any other receivers you can rely to, man, go pick up Jauan Jennings. I'm telling you, this guy's going to have a monster game. I mean, whether Kittle plays or not, it's going to be hard for the Rams to stop us, man. I don't see why. If the Rams can get on an early start, then maybe. But I just don't see it, man. It's not being cocky. It's being very confident, man. Like, if they were at their full strength, then I see it as a different ball game. But they don't have their two key weapons. They don't have they don't have the offensive line to protect Stafford, because when Stafford has time on the pocket, he can definitely be effective. But you're not going to see what he did against the Lions because this Niners defensive line is very capable of getting him. So it's not like me being too cocky, man. I just believe we're going to score 40 points on them, 40 plus points. It's just, what do the Rams have to stop us with? They can't even stop Jordan Mason. And McCaffrey doesn't even have to play. That's the fun part. Debo don't have to play. Debo don't have to play at all. Hell, Kendall don't even have to play, man. I mean, you look at the guys we got. I mean, Eric Sober is a solid blocking tight end. He's not a household name. What if Jake Tongue becomes an X factor in this passing game? Then what? Because that Rams defense can't cover a freaking tight end. So I don't think it matters. I think as long as our offensive line can hold up pretty well, they ain't going to have an answer. And they can't even stop the running game. So, yeah, it's a 40 burger in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think, man.